Welcome to Kawowo Sports. We are here at Heritage International School and we are talking to the head coach of the Junior Gazelles, Uganda's national basketball team, under 16, Mr. Roger Sserunyigo. Welcome, Roger Sserunyigo.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm in good moods. How are you?
Very well.
Yeah.
Thanks for honoring our request to have you on this show.
Yeah.
Let's start with first things first. How do you get into coaching?
I think it's been a natural. I've been nurtured into sports from the time as a 2-year-old and the like, sprinting around, trying to compete with my classmates in the lower classes. I think my nurturing in sports started that way, and then probably walking to school. I used to walk to Uganda Road on a daily. Indirectly, those are exercises that people don't actually notice. I was never driven to school. So that's how I started my sports journey.
Okay.
I was always competitive, and I loved, even you put me here, I would want to say, okay, we go for 100 meters, just to, have the competitive mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, sports started as a kid. When do you choose? What do I do? Do I do athletics? Do I do football? Do I do basketball?
Okay. I totally, once you're raising a kid into sports, I believe you don't need to choose a particular sport for a kid. You need to expose your kids to various sports as much as possible. And I'm glad to be a PE teacher. We read some of these things, we learn some of these things. You never want to choose a kid's path, but you can always expose them to different sports, depending on the age at times. I mean, under 11s, you want to give them everything. You want to make sure they can play football, they can play some rugby, they can play some basketball, they can sprint, they can do cross-country. Exposure. Yeah. That's the best thing to start with, and not direct them into that. You're my son, I want you to be a basketballer only because I was a great basketballer, or I want to be a footballer because I've seen Messi. So you have to expose them, because you never know. They could fail out at swimming and then they turn out to be the best in soccer.
Yeah. Would you say as a kid you basically played different sports?
I guarantee you, I'm so lucky that the schools I went to were so into sports. Uganda Road Primary School, we did all sorts of sports, ranging from football, which was the main one. We did a lot of cross countries. Yeah. We played, we didn't have a basketball court, that one I lucked out there. But moving to Namilyango College, that was my next journey. Yeah. It's a school that promoted rugby, and we all know all these greats you've had in rugby brands of Namilyango College. I also played rugby, and it's a privilege that I happen to play all the sports: rugby, table tennis, football, did track and field, did cross country, tried out marathons. I try to explore everything in and out. Yeah.
What was your ceiling in terms of competition at school?
Ceiling in the form of?
In form of, did you play for the school team at national championships?
Yes.
Did you?
Regarding basketball, I made it to school team as early as my senior 2. When it came to soccer, as early as senior 1, we were dominating the entire school.
Interclasses?
Interclasses. We dominated up to, we beat senior 5s in our first game against them. Immediately made it to school team playing a left back. So school team for soccer, school team for, you'll excuse me when I use soccer, it's kind of the language here, but football,
yes.
School team, basketball, school team. High jump, I was a champion in Mukono district. I just tried out everything generally, and I didn't have a picture of maybe I may turn out to be the best basketballer or the best football player. Yeah. Made it open. I wanted to compete in any sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after high school, do you choose to go to play at club level, or did it just end at high school?
Yes. Now, regarding football, I actually thought I would be one of the best footballers in Uganda, and we happened to be coached by a reverend. The guy loved me so much in Namilyango College, one of those, Msereko, I think I remember the name. He loved me so much and told me, I am going to put you in Kakira. There was a team in
Kakira FC?
Lugazi. I don't know which team was in, but he wanted to Simba, one of those.
Yeah.
So he wanted me to come and join one of those clubs. But I kind of looked at the distance. I stayed at Makerere University, and you know, I weighed my options of moving from Makerere to go to train in Lugazi. It didn't make any sense. But the guy stayed on my case and said, "You have to play for club level.
Yes.
Find your way and come and train with the bigger players there." But having lived around, you know, when you enter Makerere University, there is a basketball court, there is a swimming pool, there is a soccer pitch. The basketball court was always closer to me. And seeing university guys, like there was a guy called Shogi, there were quite a number of very good basketballers then, Humphrey, Akiza. I just used to sit and watch these guys play basketball, and I was like, I need to be like these guys. So I kind of started diverting from my football mentality to basketball. And then it so wasn't that I also joined Makerere College, and I had a friend of mine who told me, football is for people who are not smart. They just speak Luganda, they speak what? And when you watch basketball, you know, the way people dress, the way people you know, want to look good.
The swag around it.
The guy totally pulled me away from football, and I started thinking of the swaggerific sport, basketball. So I tended to be drawn towards that side.
Okay. So you start your basketball. How far do you go with the sport?
I mean, when I was in my senior FOVAC, Blue Jackets. I don't know if you've heard of Blue Jackets, but it's a team that everyone looked at in Uganda as the best team playing in East Africa, playing, I think by that time it could have been Commercial Bank or something. They were sponsored by a commercial bank. So these guys see me and they say, you jump so high. I had a good trait in jumping really, really high.
Yes.
You jump so high, so can you, you know, join the team? I told them, why not? They only recruited me for jumping. Picking rebounds, nothing else. I didn't know any other thing. I was never coached like how we are nowadays grooming these kids from 6 years. And then a gentleman called Chati told me, you know what? Yeah, Chati Vincent. He said, you boy, you can come. So he started trying to help me around. Don't shoot like that. Shoot like this. Even up to now, if you see my shot, very accurate, but the form is terrible. So he starts picking me up from there. Then we form a Blue Jackets junior team. And from the junior team, we're relating ourselves and affiliating to ourselves with the Blue Jackets. By then, most clubs had a lot of attachment to, I mean, most junior teams were affiliated to bigger clubs. So Rhino had a junior, Blue Jackets had a junior, Falcons had a junior. There was that kind of a relationship that, you know, happened.
What period are we talking about?
We are talking about 1999. About 1999.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from playing as a junior player, how do you get into senior level playing?
So I remember my first time to be featured on Blue Jackets team. This is 1999. I was, you know, there was just 1 minute remaining on the clock. And then the coach says, it's your turn to play. He didn't even tell me what I'm going to do on the court, but he said, go and play. So I pick a rebound, outlet, I run down the floor. I didn't touch the ball again. The ball comes, I play some defense, game down. But I remember taking notes. Every time I played a game, I used to take some notes in my small diary. And I praised myself. I said, I picked a rebound. You know, so I looked at this as a progress in what I was doing, and I was hoping now to get more minutes in the game. Before you know, next game I'm being given 5 minutes, and then I start growing from there into, you know, a more mature player. I remember it took me about 8 months, and this gentleman says, "You're the team captain." As young as I was, leading people who are, I think, some of them 10 years older than me, 7 years and the likes, I became their captain. And by then, being a captain entailed you collecting the jerseys and all that kind of donkey work. And I did it diligently. I was loved by everyone, and everyone tried to help me out, you know, growing the game. and get nurtured in the game. From that time, I didn't step back. I just kept going up. I remember many games I dominated picking rebounds. As short as I am, I'm 6 feet, but I remember dominating rebounds on the team.
Yeah.
My biggest area was defense. So I was given the likes of Okias, Norman Bleak. Those are the guys I had to play every single game in and out.
Yeah.
I was always told to, Okias scores 50 points. Are you able to reduce him to 15 points? That's the guy I played. Norman Bleak will score any day. Are you able to stop him? That's the guy I played. And I'm pretty sure even those particular players up to today remember that every time I played against them, they hardly scored. It was very hard them to find baskets, and they were the talking,
the top players in
the league.
Yeah.
So my prowessness here was defense and picking rebounds. I also loved scoring because I made sure that on average, every game I had to turn up with at least 10 points and above.
Yeah.
Whatever it took, I could fly so high and just finger roll the ball in the hoop, switch a little bit of hands. My left was never good, but I forced to do things with it and what.
Yeah.
And, having inspirations of seeing the Michael Jordans, Allen Iverson in the NBA, all these guys inspired me like to go to my bedroom, bounce around the ball, try out the things they did. Imagine no particular coaching from a player or guidance, but I would watch TV. I had a friend of mine who lived in California, so he would make tapes for playoffs, for NBA playoffs. He sends them to Uganda. He tells me, Roger, watch. So I would go on our, those decks.
VHS.
The VHS decks. I put in that thing. I play Iverson. I see how Iverson is able to fly past Shaquille O'Neal, past bigger players. And I said, I'm 6 feet. I think Iverson was also 6 feet. I was like, if he's 6 feet and he can do this, I can also do it. Yeah. So I started actually getting aspirations of if I could go to college in the NBA. So I made a couple of applications to Toronto Raptors, to a couple of these, and sent emails with the guidance of a sister of mine who lived in the States by then. Yeah. So I didn't ever respond. So I don't know what went wrong there, but the fact that they didn't respond, I was like, I think USA is not my thing. Maybe I can't play in the NBA. Yeah. So I settled for Ugandan basketball. Yeah. And, kept going in Blue Jackets. Clubs kept picking interest in me. I remember the first club to pick interest was Livingstone, because I was already at university. They picked interest and they said they needed me. So as a student, at times we get big heads. So I simply told Chati, I'm going to another club. So Chati said, oh, that's what you think? Go. So I didn't respect him, I remember. Apologies for that. But I didn't respect him. And then, of course, Livingstone was luring me. Yeah. I moved there. Then he said, you will not play a single game if you don't clear with us. By then, clearance of players was not really a very big deal. Yeah. A player could use their big head and say, I'm not playing for you guys this season. I'm moving on and what. Yes. So I find myself in Livingstone. This is around, I think, 2002, about there. Yeah. And I think about 2003, I find myself in Livingstone and put up very high performances. I remember playing against Power, and I took down Power in the fourth quarter just single-handedly. By then, there were the powerhouses again. Now, Blue Jackets was fading a little bit. Yeah. But I remember taking down Power and scoring, I think, almost all my points, like 20 points in the fourth quarter. And, that I picked out newspapers and put them somewhere. I still have these records, by the way. Yeah. Interesting. Over the talk about Sserunyigo Roger dominating the league. I picked out these newspapers and kept them somewhere. I still have them. Yeah. We
shall get them. So, what is your highest achievement in playing league basketball?
My highest, unfortunately, I don't have a title in the Uganda National Basketball League. Any title to do with playing for a club. Yep. I didn't happen to get any title. I kept, with the movements, I moved from Blue Jackets to Charging Rhino, and it felt like I was always filling in the gap of teams losing players. So by then, Charging Rhinos was losing the Mugabes to UCU. Yeah. So now they're recruiting players like us to join Charging Rhino. it was a struggle to keep the team up, playing with Ndamaje Robert, if you've heard about him.
Yeah.
These are guys that really inspired me. Anyway, but my highlight, I've not gotten a championship in the National League,
Yeah.
but having joined Charging Rhino shaped my basketball. And that's the first time actually in 2004, 2005 that I got a call-up for national team.
Yeah.
And that I didn't even understand, like, you know, why I was called on the team.
Yeah.
But by then, I was putting up very high performances in the university, for Makerere University. We were winning all the championships in East Africa,
Yeah.
as a basketball team, and I had very high contributions to that. I can't even count the number of medals we won for, you know, Makerere University, beating Kenyan teams, Tanzanian, Ugandan teams. We really dominated. And when I was recruited to national team 2004, 2005, Ndamaje trusted me with Jason Mel. He coached UCU. He's the guy who brought up actually that UCU team.
Yes.
And these guys put a lot of trust in me. They really thought I would do something good for the national team. Yeah. It was very interesting that time because call-ups were made, and I remember Afidra Isaac, Norman Bleak, Norman's brother, Donald, a couple of high-profile players were called, but it so turned out that some of these players, sorry to say, they said, what is the national team giving us? We don't have, the training allowance is 3,000 shillings. It doesn't make any economic sense for me to come from Nkumba to train at Makerere University. Yeah. So some of us endured. Good enough, I was staying at the university, so I took advantage.
Easy stuff.
I was always the first person on the at the training court. These coaches really loved me, and they loved my work ethics. Yeah. And eventually, I made it to the top 12. And in that meantime, also given the team captainship. We had Zone 5 hosted here in Uganda, and we were champions. That's the first time, it's the first time in Uganda that, the first team in Uganda to win a Zone 5 championship. And I'm a Zone 5 championship. However, we had to proceed to the next level, which is Afro. Yeah. There was no money. So we didn't proceed. It was a sad time. We couldn't find the money to go to Afro competitions. Yeah. A lot of things have changed. Nowadays, however much people cry that there's no money, at least teams are able to go to Afro. Yeah. I mean, Uganda ended up in 2014. It was, I think, number 2 behind Egypt. Yes. They went for Afro. Us were champions. Then in 2005, we couldn't go for Afro. Yeah. So my, biggest achievement, I believe, is playing for the national team and captaining it, and in the same year, winning a championship with the likes of, I'm impressed with some people who are still playing, Ikong, Ben Komakech, people that have really hung in this game, and they're still doing well. I played alongside these guys, and they were very brilliant players. Yeah. So it was a great joy then. So for me, I feel like that's my biggest achievement.
Okay. How do you move on from just playing the game to now coaching the game?
It took me a while. To be honest, I started my coaching career in 2003 when I joined Makerere University. So first introduction, Penny Nakabenge. I think we all know this lady. Yeah. She has the zeal in sports. I feel like the fire burnt out a little bit, but I believe that she's the one who put me actually on stage to keep pushing my career. So first thing, she's like, we need a team captain. I'm now coming from senior 6 here from Makerere College, and she said, we need a team captain. And I say, I'm ready. She's like, you are our team captain. So by then, we didn't have specific coaches to coach Makerere University, to coach, Makerere Spark. So they said, you're the captain, you're the coach. So I didn't understand. I was the captain of 4th years, 3rd years, 2nd years. It was a big challenge, but all I did was take them through a couple of drills, lay up, do what. I didn't even read anything to learn how to coach, but I tried what I could because I was already practicing this at Makerere College, leading my peers as their coach and same time a player. So given this role, I was like, okay, I'll continue with the same things I've been doing in Makerere College. So I'm leading 4th years, 3rd years. And that's how my coaching career starts. I start by coaching my fellows in the university. Wapera Shell, Tukachungura Jesse, Waswa Moses, Okias among them. Quite a number of bigger players who are actually slightly older than me, but I was leading them. But on a general, it was a big opportunity for me to start coaching. Then I moved into coaching the girls, the Sparks, Makere Sparks. And then...
When was that?
This is around 2003, 2004.
Okay.
And then, you know, somehow I picked interest in coaching Amazon Rhino. By then, they were a little bit, you know, shining, and, you know, my coaching interest actually picked up from there. But as I was coaching, I was still actively playing, very actively playing. So, you know, ended up with maybe, I think, to reduce my coaching, that's when I ended up with Falcons. So Falcons picked interest in me, and, you know, moved to Falcons. But like I said, most of the clubs I normally went to, they recruited me that time when the club was a little bit losing players. They're losing Justus to maybe a team in Congo. They're losing a couple of these good Kenyan players to other Kenyan teams. And then they're like, we need that boy to help us out. And that's how I was filling in the gap of, you know, of a couple of these players. So when I moved to Falcons, then it became more or less more playing than wanting to coach. So I kind of lay a little bit low on the coaching and try to play more. And again, looking at basketball and its growth and everything, I felt like, where's the money coming from? So having gone to school, graduated, I found a job with MultiChoice, and it was demanding. I had to work from 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Where is basketball coming in here? It became a little bit difficult, but I'm so grateful to the coaches of Falcons then. I think I happened to be coached by the late Smart, Olumbo, but these coaches didn't give up on me. They made sure that when it came to, I missed lots of regular season games. But when it came to playoffs, I would ask for leave from work for about 1-2 weeks, and then come back and train as the first one on court. My old habits were not dying out. First one on court, training every single time.
Get in shape.
And get in shape. And before you know, on the team in playoffs. I didn't start a couple of times, but the minute I stepped on court, they didn't want to take me off court. Playing against, I mean, the defensive skills hadn't died. I now developed a three-pointer that I shot so well during my reign at Falcons. The drives were unstoppable, jumping on the hoop, dunking it, and, you know, it was amazing, my time at Falcons. But later on, I had to tone down and focus more on work. And I think work started taking a toll of me. And, you know, the competitive bit, I started reducing it. So I got lots of offers from DJ on scholarship, other clubs giving me these offers, but one word was that I need to make money. I need to earn a living. I'm growing. So it kind of took a little bit, but in the meantime, I made sure that I kept in coaching. So I coached Makere Sparks, I coached Amazon Rhino, I coached Magic Stormers. We're the founders of Magic Stormers with a couple of 2 other ladies and a gentleman called Ali Balunywa. We started Magic Stormers and Giant Stormers. So I moved quick now into coaching clubs. And I think my journey of coaching started really there.
Okay, so tell us about your journey from around Magic Stormers, because Magic Stormers, Giant Stormers, that's when you get serious with the coaching. I mean, as the main part of the game. Tell us about your journey from Magic Stormers to right now.
For me, it's been a very good coaching career, to be honest. I kind of took a trend of coaching ladies as opposed to men. I don't know how that happened, but I started learning how to deal with ladies a little bit more. They're very critical. We all know this, but if you put, what can I call it, a ceiling or a gap, And you let them know that we're here to learn, we're not here to date, we're not here to relate. Relate in the sense of boyfriend, girlfriend,
yes.
not relating in the sense of building a friendship. So
yes.
You build good friendships with them, but at times some of them can think otherwise.
Yes.
Is one getting a hug, one is not getting a hug, and the like. So my coaching journey started with the ladies, and I think the people who spotted me coach the ladies in the league started feeling like maybe I can you know, make it with ladies clubs.
Yes.
I went back and coached Macquarie Sparks, but by then I think a couple of good players like Kawowo were leaving and going also for further studies and work. You know, hung in there, and I don't know from there what really took place, but it looks like I wanted to bring a team. Like our Magic Stormers' intent was to make sure we're the best in East Africa, and we had that at us, and you know, the best team around. So we pushed it, and then maybe at some point I kind of still fell out because I was busy at work.
Yes.
But coming to about 2010, I still got more busy in work, and then more, you know, that took away a little bit of my coaching. Then at some point, because I loved this game, I went to Match India Shooters. So Match India Shooters, I went as a coach and as a player.
Veteran player.
Veteran player. I remember doing so well, and of course you're meeting all these kids, and the kids well, they were excited that I'm coaching them, that's one, and these are boys. Excited that I'm coaching them. Others just can't believe that someone who is older than us can sprint, play defense, score, command the team, point the ball. So they all looked at me like, if he's not there, we are doomed and we're finished. So somehow my coaching intensified there, because playing at the same time also wanting to make sure we win, at the same time also wanting to make sure that I coach properly, intensified. But it's normally very hard to be a coach player. One is that you can compromise. My compromising bit was that I didn't want to step on the court. I wanted to coach more than play. Yet me playing would actually give the team a leverage. So I started compromising quite a lot of things there. We were in playoffs, I think, with a Bushcourt team, and I didn't start. Then Bushcourt beat Washes us 27 to 4 points in the first quarter, a playoff game, semi-final. And by the time I stepped on court, it was a little bit too late. Struggled, we brought the game to a 3-point lead at the end of the game. And but of course Bushcourt now took it. The following day, we had a second game two. And they watched us. We were tired. I was tired. We couldn't offer a lot, and they beat us by 1 point. So generally, I had to think now, do I move into coaching? Do I keep playing? So I made up my mind, and I said, no, I'm now moving into coaching. Permanently. And my coaching, that's when I think I moved to KCCA. So I was given a project. I was told, I mean, the information I got is that they were looking for a very good coach with youth, and most recommendation all pointed at Coach Roger. So everyone pointed at me, and they said, that's the best guy. If you want a youth coach to get KCCA back on track and to get everything running for KCCA, that's the right guy. So I make a decision to move from Match India Shooters, and we start up now KCCA. Remember, KCCA existed a while back, then they went out, the men's team. Then I rejuvenate it, I get a contract and good terms and everything, and we start up KCCA. Season 1, we're number 2 in the lowest division. Division 1, we were champions. But in the meantime, as I was working with the men's team, I was also asked to assist Timothy Odeke with coaching the KCCA Leopards. So I took advantage. I assisted. Of course, it's not easy at times, like I said, with ladies. Some little rejects, some are very happy. A mixture of feelings there, but I'm given an assignment that you have to be the assistant for the ladies, and then carry on with your men's project. So we're champions in 2007 with the men, and then the ladies were number 2. And I think eventually there was an evaluation. I think this is about 2000, if I'm not mistaken, 2000, I'm forgetting the year. But there was an 2015, 2016. Yeah. So there was an evaluation that I need to make a choice between coaching the ladies, the Leopards, and also the men. So I had two teams to coach. Yes. There's not so many coaches that get that room that, oh, you have a choice to make. You can coach the men, you can coach. Yes. So anyway, I decided to head. Sorry, this is still when I was coaching in Division 1 for the men. Yes. So I decided to head the men's team and also head the women's team, the ladies' team. And then I had two assistants with me, Albert Achiko and I don't know if I'm going. So Albert Achiko, I think, was doubling, assisting me in both. Yes. So the ladies turned out as number 2. They were in playoffs. Sadly, we got a couple of issues here and there. Some players were not, in fine position to play, and UCU washed us 4-0. But the men were champions that very year. So anyway, from there, I had to also make another choice. Do I continue with the ladies in the following year, or I continue coaching the men in now top flight? So for me, I had achieved, because my project was to make sure that I bring up a team from lower divisions and take them to top flight. And then with the ladies, I was only given a position of, as long as you're still number 2 and were able to go for zone 5, you will have done it as a head coach. Yeah. I did it. So anyway, I took on the role of coaching the men. Yeah. And well, a couple of issues, didn't go well here and there. I was there for about half a season, and I resigned. I resigned because I felt like, the issues were beyond my control. Yeah. And, so that's where I moved away from KCCA. I wanted to take a break from actually coaching. Yeah. But it took me about 2 weeks. And then Uganda Matters, Nkosi called me and said, boss, we need your services. We hear you've left KCCA. Yeah. Are you available? I told him I'm not. I wanted to take a break until the following season. Yeah. They insisted. So I was out of coaching, for that little time. So they insisted, and I said, who am I to be this mean to people requesting me for this long not to coach? Yeah. I said, I'll coach you. How much are you paying me? At times you have to weigh your options. This is Nkosi, Masaka Road, and so I had to weigh my options. And I decided to go and coach Nkosi, both teams, heading the two teams, not an easy one as well. But the girls' team was in the top flight, the men's team was in Division 1. Both of them very competitive, the ladies getting better, but it looked like I really loved to coach the ladies. So I had a lot of focus for these ladies, and I pushed to my very best, and I believe everyone appreciated. How has this guy gotten these girls to play this good and compete so well with the big dogs here, UCU, JKL, were really doing good, and these are girls that would come with about 7 to 8 players playing a game, and they would compete. We made it to playoffs, every single season. The 2 seasons I was with Uganda Matters and Nkosi, with girls that you would see that, are lacking, but we pushed and pushed and pushed. Yes. So anyway, from there, my journey continued. I kept hanging in there in terms of coaching. So I think from Nkosi, that's where now I think I'm recognized to coach the under 16 Gazelles.
Okay. And, which year is this?
Yeah, this is 2019, just before, was it before COVID or something? I'm not so certain. Yeah, yes. Just about that, yeah. Okay.
Before we go to the under 16s, I mean, what have been your highs and lows at coaching club level?
Yeah, my lows, I would want to say, because I enjoy this thing, I don't even look out for the lows. Because as I do this, as I do the club training, I also tend to focus on developing younger kids between the ages of 5 to 19 years. Yeah. So I pour out every other coaching on these kids. If something is not working out with the senior teams. And that's the other part of me now. I don't know if we'll have a chance to talk about it, but my passion is to make sure that the kids, the younger kids, all get to know this game while they're still young. And these are the ones that are going to feed the national teams.
Yes.
Yeah.